Listen closely. This might be the last time you ever think the same again. Every betrayal you've endured, every time you were ghosted, used, disrespected, or overlooked, it wasn't bad luck. It was a direct result of you feeling too much. You let emotions take the wheel, and they drove you straight into weakness. They told you to be kind, to open up, to be vulnerable. They told you vulnerability was strength. No, that was a trap. A lie packaged as wisdom, sold to you by people who wanted you soft, predictable, and easy to break, because emotions are tools. And when you don't control them, someone else will. They'll use your love as leverage, your empathy as a weapon, and your loyalty as a leash. This world doesn't respect how deeply you feel. It respects how tightly you control. If you want to be untouchable, you must kill your emotions before they kill your potential. No more tears, no more explaining, no more expecting fairness from a world that rewards manipulation. The man who can silence his heart commands those who can't. That's the power dynamic. The second they know how to trigger you, they own you. The only way out? Become emotionally invisible. Your strength is in your indifference. Your power is in your silence. Your advantage is in being the one who doesn't flinch, doesn't chase, doesn't beg. Learn to watch betrayal without blinking. Learn to walk away without looking back. This is the first rule of emotional warfare. Detach or be destroyed. If you feel this in your soul, comment, "I'm done bleeding," right now. Because we're just getting started. And after this, they won't even recognize who you've become. The lie you've been sold. You've been lied to since birth. They told you emotions make you human, that expressing them makes you stronger, that real men cry, communication heals everything, and honesty is the key. Let me break it to you. Those words were never meant to build you. They were meant to control you. Because when you're emotional, you're predictable. And when you're predictable, you're easy to puppet. That's the system. It's not built for the powerful. It's built to tame them. You've been drugged with sentiment, conditioned to seek validation, taught to believe that being liked is more important than being respected. But here's the truth. No one respects a man who can't control his reactions. No one fears a man who bleeds on command. They'll nod when you vent. They'll understand. But behind your back, they're calling you weak, soft, replaceable. You think people want honesty? No, they want advantage. They want to know where you're fragile so they can exploit it when the time comes. That's why Machiavelli said, "It is much safer to be feared than loved." Fear commands space. Love invites manipulation. If you're tired of being the emotional servant in a world run by cold minds, it's time you saw this for what it is, a rigged game. And the only way to win is to rewrite your programming. You don't owe your feelings to anyone. You owe yourself power, discipline, and distance. From this point forward, stop explaining your emotions. Stop chasing closure. Stop thinking being open is noble. It's not. It's suicidal. Your emotions are a loaded gun, and every time you hand it over, you give someone else the power to pull the trigger. Never again. If this just cracked something inside you, comment, "I see the lie now." Detachment is the weapon. You want power? Then understand this. Detachment is the weapon. Not muscles, not money, not status. The man who feels nothing when the world tries to pull him apart, that's the one they can't defeat. Detachment is not about not caring. It's about controlling what you care about. It's the ability to feel rage and not act on it, to feel pain and not show it, to want revenge and still walk away, not because you're weak, but because you're calculating. Detachment isn't numbness, it's precision. It's choosing what deserves your attention and what dies in silence. Most people are emotionally chaotic, swinging from love to hate in seconds, triggered by a text, broken by a look. They are slaves to their own feelings. And that's exactly why they're easy to own. You're not one of them anymore. You don't react, you study, you listen, you wait. When someone disrespects you, you don't argue, you withdraw, quietly, coldly. Let them feel the absence of your energy. Let your silence haunt them. Detachment turns you from predictable to dangerous. Because when they can't predict your response, they start fearing your next move. You're not here to prove anything. You're here to build dominance through control. Think of the kings who ruled the world: Julius Caesar, Marcus Aurelius, Machiavelli's prince. They didn't scream for attention. They sat in silence and made decisions that crushed nations. That's the energy now. You don't seek revenge, you embody it. Through success, through distance, through indifference. Let them wonder if you care. Let them guess if they got to you. You never confirm it. That's power. And the beautiful part, once you master detachment, no one can take anything from you because you already let go of everything. If you're ready to become unreadable, comment, "Ice in my veins." The next part will break down why predictability is your greatest vulnerability. Don't miss it. And remember, only the emotionally controlled can control the world. The weak are predictable. If I can predict you, I can control you. And if I can control you, I own you. That's the brutal law. Weak men broadcast their emotions like a broken faucet, always leaking, always reacting, always exposed. They think they're expressing themselves, being real, being honest. No, they're just easy to read, easy to use, and even easier to destroy. Predictability is the calling card of the emotionally undisciplined. The man who gets loud every time he's insulted, who chases every time he's ghosted, who begs for closure when left behind. He's not powerful. He's programmable. People poke him just to feel dominant, and they always succeed. Why? Because he can't help himself. He's a slave to reaction, and reaction is the first sign of emotional slavery. They trained you young. Smile when you're uncomfortable. Cry when you're hurt. Apologize when you stand your ground. They shaped you into an emotional robot with buttons anyone can press. But a man with buttons is a man with no control. Understand this. Control is not about domination. It's about unreadability. The man who moves without reacting, who thinks without broadcasting, who feels without exposing, that man is dangerous. He becomes a question no one can answer, a presence no one can predict. And that's where real power lives. You get disrespected, the weak man explodes, rants, and posts quotes online. The strong man watches. He doesn't react, he recalculates. You get ghosted, the weak man double texts, spirals, begs for validation. The strong man deletes, disappears, evolves. You feel fear, the weak man freezes or panics. The strong man studies the fear, masters it, and walks into the fire anyway, without blinking. The moment you break your own emotional habits, you break the grip of the world on your psyche. Predictability isn't just about how others read you, it's about the loop you trap yourself in. When you're driven by impulse, you become your own prison. You are your own enemy, and the only way out is to starve that emotional autopilot until it dies. From now on, you don't react, you assess, you don't defend, you withdraw, you don't explain, you vanish. You become the ghost they can't find, the question they can't answer, the energy they can't touch. That's what happens when you eliminate predictability. You stop being prey and become the storm. The moment they can't calculate your next move, they fear your existence. If you're done being the puppet, comment, "I give no more reactions." Emotional celibacy. You've heard of physical celibacy. Now it's time for the superior discipline, emotional celibacy. This is where the game shifts, where boys fall off and men begin. Emotional celibacy means starving every emotion that weakens you, drains you, or leaves you vulnerable to the hands of others. It means refusing to give your energy to things that don't return power. No more reacting to disrespect. No more explaining yourself to people who don't matter. No more feeding anger, sadness, attachment, or guilt. Why? Because every time you give emotion to something unworthy, you shrink, you fracture your edge, you pour gasoline into a fire that was designed to burn you. Emotional celibacy is the art of silence when you're provoked, stillness when you're shaken, and composure when chaos knocks on your door. It's about creating emotional starvation, not for survival, but for control. You don't owe the world your truth. You don't owe closure, you don't owe clarity. Most people aren't looking for understanding, they're looking for access. And emotional access is a currency you can't afford to hand out anymore. The more they feel your reactions, the more they control the script. But when you become emotionally celibate, you starve the drama, the manipulation, the attention seekers. You remove the fuel they need to operate. Think about how powerful that makes you. Someone tries to bait you into anger, you stare. Someone ghosts you, you level up. Someone betrays you, you tighten your circle, not your mouth. You become a fortress, cold, clean, impeccably composed. Because the man who doesn't need emotional release is the man no one can provoke, shame, or destabilize. And don't get it twisted, emotional celibacy doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you own your feelings so fully that they bow to you. They don't spill, they don't erupt, they don't leak into places they don't belong. You feel everything, but you express nothing, unless it's strategic. When you speak, it's intentional. When you respond, it's planned. When you disappear, it's surgical. Emotional celibacy is delayed warfare. You don't fight now. You let your growth, your calm, your silence hurt them louder. You don't argue about the disrespect. You become someone they'll never get near again. Emotional restraint builds mystique, scarcity, power. They'll wonder why they can't get a reaction. They'll obsess over the silence. They'll beg for a sign that you still feel something, but you won't give them the pleasure. You've cut the cord, burned the attachment, starved the emotion until your world becomes a temple of order, and chaos no longer feels welcome in your energy. That's emotional celibacy, the ultimate power move. It builds a mind so disciplined that even the devil himself can't tempt you. And if you're still thinking, but won't I be cold? Won't I be heartless? Let me answer you with this. Yes, and that's exactly the point. Because the world respects cold logic, not emotional chaos. And if you're still chasing warmth from people who only bring you frostbite, you're not ready for the top. The top belongs to the emotionally elite, the kings who feel in private but rule in silence, the ones who don't flinch when tested, don't explain when judged, don't beg when abandoned. They subtract emotions like dead weight. They are calculating, present, untouchable. And from today forward, so are you. If you're ready to master emotional celibacy and leave behind every version of you that ever begged, broke, or reacted, comment "starving the noise." The Machiavellian Edge. There's cold, and then there's calculated. That's where the Machiavellian edge lives, in the razor-thin line between emotional silence and psychological warfare. You've mastered detachment. You've killed the noise. But now we turn your stillness into a weapon. Let me be clear. You are no longer here to survive emotional manipulation. You are here to reverse it, control it, profit from it. This is where you stop being the prey and become the one who writes the rules. Machiavelli said, "It is much safer to be feared than loved." Why? Because love fades. Fear roots itself deep. Fear creates distance. Fear makes people think twice before crossing you. And the man who is feared never has to raise his voice, never has to explain, never has to chase respect. He becomes the standard. You don't get the Machiavellian edge by being loud, emotional, or reactive. You get it by being invisible when necessary, icy when tested, and always 5 moves ahead. When someone tries to provoke you, you don't defend. You observe. You study their emotional patterns like a predator stalking prey, watching for their weak spots, storing their triggers. Because the Machiavellian man doesn't just survive betrayal, he catalogs it and waits for the exact moment when using that information will yield maximum gain. They laugh at you now? Let them. They lie to you? Take notes. They ghost you? Perfect. Silence is your witness, and time is your executioner. You're not here to be liked, you're here to be remembered. And nothing is more unforgettable than a man who responds to disrespect with dominance. That doesn't mean getting revenge like a child. It means outclassing, outlasting, and outperforming so brutally that they regret underestimating you more than they ever enjoyed crossing you. That's the Machiavellian edge. Not reacting, but reprogramming. Not arguing, but positioning. You manipulate reality by being the one who doesn't need anything, who feels nothing, and who moves with purpose. People respect strategy. People trust confidence. But people fear mystery. So become unreadable. Become untouchable. You don't show your intentions. You don't explain your silence. You disappear when it's time to vanish. You return when it's time to dominate. Machiavellianism is not evil. It's the art of surviving in a world that rewards the most emotionally disciplined. It's understanding that mercy, vulnerability, and honesty are luxuries, not obligations. They have their place, but they are used with precision, not instinct. When people know you are capable of darkness, they respect your light more. When people know you could destroy them, but choose not to, they serve your presence with caution. That's not arrogance. That's psychological warfare at its highest level. You become the variable they can't measure. And in that uncertainty, you own them. You don't just protect your peace. You become the chaos they can't predict. Keep in mind, you're not going out of your way to manipulate. You're simply refusing to play by emotional rules that were never written for your benefit. People are emotional beings. Most of them are dying to be seen, to be heard, to be validated. You become the mirror that reflects nothing back. You become the presence that never blinks, the energy that never explains. When someone pulls away from you, you don't chase, you replace. When they lie, you don't argue. You vanish and resurface at a level they'll never access again. You build in silence, you improve in shadows, and by the time they realize who you've become, they're looking up from beneath you, not beside you. That's the power of cold logic, weaponized. And here's the twisted part. They'll respect you more for it. Because deep down, people trust power. They're drawn to the one who doesn't care, who doesn't need, who doesn't flinch. You become the gravitational force in every room, the one who doesn't have to speak to be felt, the one who could burn the bridge but doesn't, because you're not on their level anymore. You own the terrain. You've outgrown the war. You're ready to weaponize your calm, master the mind game, and stop playing fair in a world that rewards strategic silence. You are the storm. You've been told to seek peace, to be calm, to stay grounded, but here's the truth they never taught you. In a world full of chaos, you don't find peace. You become the storm that doesn't flinch. You don't seek calm, you master control within the chaos. That's your evolution. That's what separates a man who merely survives from a man who commands. See, most people break when life applies pressure. One bad day, one betrayal, one rejection, and they unravel. They lose composure, make emotional decisions, spill weaknesses out into the open like spilled wine on white linen. But not you. Not anymore. The storm is your natural state now. You don't resist it, you become it. Understand this. Calm is not the absence of chaos. Calm is the dominance of self in the middle of it. You don't need perfect conditions. You are the condition. You don't wait for the world to be quiet. You walk into the noise, eyes steady, heart silent, mind sharp. While everyone else panics, you calculate. While they react, you observe. While they drown, you rise. That's why you win, because your emotions no longer own you. Your fear doesn't steer you. Your anger doesn't expose you. Your pain doesn't dictate your path. You walk into betrayal like it never touched you. You smile in the face of disrespect, not because you're weak, but because you already see the checkmate 10 moves ahead. That's what it means to be the storm. You don't chase control, you embody it. You don't respond to chaos, you consume it. You don't let the environment shift your power, you become the center of gravity that bends the environment around you. And here's the twist. People will feel it. They won't know why. But they'll go silent when you enter a room, not out of respect, out of instinct. Because you've mastered what 99% of men never even attempt. Total emotional sovereignty. They'll test you, they'll bait you, they'll try to break that calm surface. Let them try. When they realize you can't be triggered, can't be moved, can't be read, they'll fear you without understanding why. Because men who are calm in chaos are terrifying. You become less human, more force, less man, more myth. If you're done being shaken and ready to become the threat, comment, "I am storm in silence." The new law of you. From this point forward, everything changes. The emotional version of you, dead. The man who chased closure, who needed validation, who over-explained his intentions just to be misunderstood, that man no longer exists. What stands in his place now is governed by law, your law. Not society's expectations, not childhood programming, not weakness disguised as kindness. Your life is no longer open to interpretation. Your mind is now a closed circuit. The new law of you is built on silence, strategy, and power. You speak only when your words have weight. You act only when it serves dominance. You never explain, because kings don't owe explanations. You never react, because reaction is the leash of the emotional. From now on, no one gets to know how you feel. They can guess. They can hope. But you're unreadable. You've erased the blueprint of the old you, the one people could study, manipulate, decode. That version of you had habits. This version has rules. Rule 1. If it costs your peace, it's too expensive. That means no more responding to chaos. If someone wants to play games, let them play alone. Rule 2. Your time is no longer freely available. If it doesn't build your empire, it doesn't get your presence. Rule 3. Your emotions are yours alone. You do not share pain with those who haven't earned your vulnerability. You do not bleed in front of spectators. Rule 4. You subtract anything or anyone that weakens your focus. No hesitation, no negotiation. You're not cold, you're clear. The new law of you doesn't negotiate with disrespect, doesn't tolerate dishonesty, doesn't make room for confusion. Your presence now has a price. Your silence now carries weight. And your detachment? That's your signature move. They'll wonder why you're quiet, why you didn't respond, why you walked away without a single word. Let them. Their curiosity is your control, because men, governed by law, don't owe chaos anything. Not emotion, not attention, not presence. You're no longer a man people can play with. You're a force they navigate carefully, a presence that demands respect without asking for it. This is your new identity. Unreadable, unshakable, untouchable. If you feel the shift, comment, "I am the law."